Well, hello there. Welcome to the Obi Thorn Alliance, and in today's video we are reviewing Civil War. Like and subscribe, comment down below your thoughts, and stick around.
So Civil War, Jacob's seen it, I haven't. I've been contemplating it, so we're going to see if Jacob can convince me to see it or warn me off not seeing it today. So, plot of Civil War.
So basically the plot is that the America has gone into a civil war from the title. The President of the United States has gone into his third term. What in America normally they do 2 terms, but the President has gone into power hungry. He's done a third extra term. So he's basically, with dialogue, gone into killing his American citizens, devouring the FBI, and doing things like that. So that's the main thing by dialogue, the reason why it has become the Civil War. Basically, we have different factions within the Civil War, and also we have reporters. That's basically the main journey that we go on, is that the reporters want to document what goes on their journey, so we as the viewer have the opinions of what we think and have no judgment. But the main character, the male, wants to speak with the president and kind of interview him. That's the gist of the story.
So this movie is directed by Alex Garland, who has directed movies such as The Beach, which I really like, from 1996, and 28 Days Later. It stars Kirsten Dunst, which I'm guessing is one of these reporters that you mentioned.
Yeah.
I saw that there's Wagner Moura, which I'm not sure who that is. I think it's a foreign actor that might be breaking into the English-speaking movies. I saw Nick Offerman, which I think it's credited him as being
He's the president,
so people would know him from Parks and Recreation. So it's a bit different seeing him. I'm guessing he's not funny in this movie, like he is in Parks and Recreation. What was the budget for this film, and has it made its money back yet?
It was $50 million, the budget, and the box office was $49.4 million.
Yeah, so it hasn't quite made its money yet back. But I also think that even if it made its money back, that's still not considered a success. You'd want to make some profit, or I don't know how they work at these figures, but it's not really making its money back, which is a bit disappointing. It's supposedly a companion film to a movie that came out in 2022 called Men. I haven't seen that either, so I don't know how it's a companion, but I guess that means that it's kind of not a sequel or a prequel, but it's kind of set in the same world. I guess there's quite a few films and shows that do that now. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a score of 74%, so we'll wait to see if you give it more or less than that. It's produced by A24 Studios, which this is their highest budget they've given to a film, which is surprising, because I didn't think 50 million was very much for a budget for a film, but it's one of the most they've done. They've done movies like Ex Machina, which I started to watch the other day, and I thought it was pretty interesting, which I need to finish. Have you seen that film?
No.
Spring Breakers, which I really like, a James Franco movie it's got James Franco in it. People absolutely tear this movie apart and hate it, but I love it. I think it's a really cool film, so it's cool that they did that. But then they're more famously done TV shows like Beef and Euphoria, so it's not a bad production studio. Brought out some good quality things. Let's get into your score, Jacob. What did you give the plot?
So I gave a plot of 5 for me. It's in the middle. After going through the article, it makes a lot more sense of why the director has chosen to go for, because he also written the movie as well. So I can see the vision with why he wrote it the way they did, but it's because from someone that doesn't know politics within America and stuff like that, for me the plot felt like it had, I would have liked it if it explained why the Civil War started in the beginning, and I actually thought it would be interesting for the plot if it had 2 perspectives. One, we went on the reporter's side, and the other one we kind of saw from the military perspective, or even the civilian perspective of why the war happened. So that's why for me the movie felt like I just wanted to know more information, and I know the director's like, well, I'm showing you what could happen if the Civil War started, but to me it's like, well, it's a movie, like this is fictional. So to me, I felt a little bit like, why should I care about these reporters and it's a movie? Give your opinion. So felt very unsatisfying that with the plot.
What about the acting performance? Got a few stars in there. Did they live up to the expectation?
For me, this got a 6. It felt very dramatic with how they were, reporter veterans, and it felt like they had post-traumatic stress disorder. But personally, I did not really care about their story at all. It felt more interesting about the world, what has happened with the Civil War, and also the soldiers and why has this happened. So with the acting performances, they did a good job, but not as much as I would have wanted, because personally I didn't really care about the characters. Like when deaths happened or stuff like that, they wanted you to care about the actors and the characters or when it happened, but personally I was not invested and did not care why they died. So yeah.
What about the directing and editing of this film?
For me, it gets a 6 as well. I really enjoyed the visuals with the editing, and I liked the vision of where the director was going. But personally, I found that he, like I said with the plot, didn't really... I would have preferred if he gave an opinion and explained what he wanted to say. Like, I understand that he was trying to show how shocking war is, even though we know how shocking war is, but gave a reason to why the Civil War happened. Yeah.
What about the visuals and sounds within this movie?
This is really when it excelled, when the bullets were flying all over the place, when the action was happening. This is why I wanted more of that. The visuals were amazing with the effects of the tanks and everything, the brute violence and vitality of everything. That was where the movie was at its best. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough of it, but I understand it was more the journey of the reporters. But when the action was on, it was at its best. Yeah, at 8.
And then what about the audience appeal? So those that are into, I guess, I would have thought that this was a military movie or a war movie.
No.
Would others thought the same, and would they be disappointed?
I think this gets an 8 because I think this appeals to American culture and to see where this could possibly lead to. But when it comes to the rest of the world and when it comes to action movie, the rest of the 2% would be like, well, the title is very misleading because it's actually not Civil War. That's not the main topic. The Civil War is really in the background. It's more about these reporters and their story, what to me was not what it was supposed to be. But I think main Americans would enjoy this movie.
And then originality and creativity. What do you give this film?
Definitely a 7. I think it was creative with actually showing the reporter's perspective and kind of showing the brutality of war, because a lot of war movies show it from the soldier's perspective. What this movie shows it from kind of reporters going into war and kind of traveling the landscape. So I can see the vision is very creative, and that's what I can respect about the director's vision. I disagree with what he did with the movie, but he did it very creatively, so very respectfully.
Okay, so what was your total score?
Out of 100%, I gave it a 67%. I think from someone that does not live in America, I did not like this movie as much because it does not appeal to myself, that's someone that lives in a different country. For someone that would live in America, I think this movie would appeal to you a lot more, and that's why it gets the 67%, because from someone that doesn't understand the American politics system or the different states and it's very confusing what happens in America. I needed more example why a civil war for the second time would start, and I did not get that, so I found it very confusing to follow. But I do understand what the director was coming from, basically showing us the totality of war and showing people why it wouldn't be a good idea to do civil war again. So definitely worth seeing if you're American, like I said, but for the rest of the world, I would probably say stream it, wait for it to come out.
Yeah, it's interesting based upon the fact that it hasn't really taken off and made a lot of money, and you think it would appeal to Americans. It's interesting, yeah. So maybe it doesn't appeal to them. From what you've said, I don't know if I'm convinced if I want to see it, but weirdly I kind of do. I reckon it might be one of those movies I will like, but is it a streaming or is it straight, or is it a movie in the cinemas? You reckon the visuals and sounds are the best part, so maybe it warrants a cinema experience? I'm kind of still on the fence, so what do you think? Do you think I should go see it in the movies, or should I wait?
I always know you're a big believer in story first and visuals and actions, like Avatar and Dune. You're a bit overrated, so I would say Civil War is very much like those more. The visuals and the action are its best qualities.
Okay, so maybe wait the streaming then.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. As always, like and subscribe and comment down your thoughts. Am I wrong with my thoughts that it needed to be more explaining itself? Or the director nailing it with his brutality of not trying to show why Civil War wouldn't be a good idea? Be very curious to know. As always, like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.